One Bugatti costs $1.5 million. Another cost $18.7 million. Same badge, same factory. The buyer of the cheaper one considers it a rational transaction. The buyer of the other has never been publicly identified. Almost none of that gap is about the car. 7 levels. Let's get into it. Level 1, the entry, the Veyron. Pre-owned, $900,000 to $1.8 million. In 2005, Volkswagen Group lost approximately $6 million on every single one of these they sold. Development cost, $1.5 billion. A journalist asked Ferdinand Piëch, VW's chairman, the man personally responsible, why a company that made Golfs and Polos was building $1 million car at a guaranteed loss. He said it was not about the profit. It was about proving it was possible. And someone is going to say, the Tourbillon should be on this list. Someone else will say the Bolide. Both noted, both absent. The engine, 8.0-liter W16, 16 cylinders in a W formation, 4 turbochargers, 1,001 horsepower. The exact figure was deliberate, 1 horsepower above 1,000, because someone at Bugatti understood that round numbers don't impress engineers. At full throttle, the 26-gallon fuel tank empties in 12 minutes. Michelin developed tires exclusively for this car. Each set survived exactly 15 minutes at top speed, then destroyed. Not rotated, destroyed. 253 miles per hour. In 2005, nothing with license plates could follow. The collector who picks one up today isn't buying a used car. He's buying the object that proved the thing was possible. Now trading at what a well-optioned Lamborghini costs. His accountant reviews the number and doesn't immediately call. That, by Bugatti standards, counts as accessible. VW never made money on a single one. That is not a footnote. That is the entire architecture of Level 1. Below this level, you're buying history secondhand. From here, Bugatti builds it new. And the price reflects what that actually costs. Level 2. The production car, the Chiron. $3.4 million base. 1,500 horsepower from the same W16 architecture. $499 more than the car that redefined the possible a decade before it. Quad turbo, 16 cylinders, 64 fuel injectors. At idle, the engine generates more heat than 10 average homes in winter. Here's what Bugatti does not advertise about the Chiron. The car is electronically limited to 261 miles per hour. Not because it cannot go faster, because no production tire safely survives above that speed. The machine is faster than the tires that would need to contain it. The limiter exists not because the engineers ran out of ideas. It exists because Michelin ran out of rubber compounds. The Bugatti Atelier in Molsheim, France. One building, a workforce of 300, assembling approximately 80 cars per year. Not 80,000, 80. The man who orders one isn't asking what the car can do. He already knows. He's paying $3.4 million for 6 months of a factory's attention. One specific car built for one specific person. Most of them owned a Veyron first. Several owned two. None of them asked about the waiting list more than once. Up to this point, buying a Bugatti is still a transaction. From here, it starts becoming a credential. Level 3. The 300-mile-per-hour car. The Chiron Supersport 300 Plus. 30 units. $3.9 million. All allocated before announcement. In August 2019, on a sealed section of Volkswagen's Aerolesson test track in northern Germany, a modified Chiron reached 304.77 miles per hour. The driver was Andy Wallace, a Le Mans 24-hour overall winner. The speed limiter had been removed. The bodywork had been modified. Michelin developed tires specifically for this run. Each set was rated for exactly one use at that velocity. After the record was confirmed, the tires were removed and destroyed. The car crossed 300 miles per hour at 8:12 in the morning. Nobody had done that before. The production Supersport 300 Plus was built as a tribute to that morning. 30 units. A set of replacement tires after a full throttle run. Approximately $42,000. Not because they wear out in normal use, because they are rated for exactly one full-speed event. The 30 buyers were already inside the Bugatti conversation before the car was announced. Owning a Chiron was the prerequisite for the call. They understood that 304.77 is not a performance figure. It is a coordinate in history. The car's papers carry it permanently. If this is landing, subscribe. I break down how things actually work, not how the brochure describes them. Back to it. Level 4, the last of the W16 in open air, the Mistral, 99 units, $5 million. The most important detail about the Mistral has nothing to do with its horsepower. Bugatti's next car, the Tourbillon, replaces the W16 with a naturally aspirated V16 hybrid. The W16 engine that powered every Bugatti since 2005 is finished. The Mistral is the last open-top car this engine will ever power permanently. There is no future W16 Bugatti Roadster. This is it. All 99 units sold before anyone outside the existing client network knew the car existed. You did not read about the Mistral in a press release. You received a private communication. If you needed the press release, the allocation was already gone. Named after the Mistral wind, the cold, powerful current that sweeps through the south of France into the Mediterranean, Bugatti names its cars after forces of nature and racing drivers from their 1920s era. Both categories are correct. The collector who got the call already owned a Chiron. He understood when Bugatti reached out about the Mistral that the conversation wasn't about a car. It was about the end of something. He said yes before it finished. Below this level, you're buying a Bugatti. From here, you're buying a piece of a history that is actively closing. Level 5, the track car for public roads. The Devo, 40 units, $5.8 million. All sold before the public announcement. The Devo generates 90 kilograms more downforce than the Chiron. It is 35 seconds faster around Nardo's handling circuit. It is slower in a straight line than the Supersport 300 Plus. That trade was deliberate. The Devo was not built for the Autobahn. It was built for the roads of the French countryside where Bugatti's test drivers actually wanted to go fast. Named after Albert Devo, a Bugatti factory driver who won the Targa Florio twice in the 1920s. The Targa Florio, a 450-mile race through the mountain roads of Sicily, contested entirely on public roads, considered by historians the most dangerous motorsport event of its era. Here is the detail that defines this level. To purchase a Devo, you first had to own a Chiron, not inquire, not consider. Own one. More Chiron owners wanted a Devo than there were cars available. Several of those 40 Devos have never turned a wheel since delivery, directly into climate-controlled storage, insured not as vehicles, as art, level 6, the Tribute, the 110, 10 units, $9 million. 110 means 110 in Italian, 110 years since Ettore Bugatti was born. The 110 is a tribute to the EB110, a car built in 1991 to mark Ettore's 110th birthday, made by a company that went bankrupt 4 years later and stopped production permanently. Michael Schumacher bought an EB110 personally the year he won his first Formula One World Championship. He kept it for years. The original EB110s are among the rarest cars in existence. The new 110 weighs 20 kilograms less than the Chiron through carbon fiber construction alone. It produces more downforce than any previous Bugatti. Its silhouette is almost identical to the 1991 car. All 10 units sold within minutes of the private announcement. Each buyer then spent approximately 2 years in specification consultation with Bugatti's design team. The $9 million was not the transaction. It was the invitation to begin. 10 people received a private call about a car that would exist in an edition of 10. The decision wasn't about the specification. It was about whether they wanted to be one of 10. The ones who said yes did not ask to call back. Below this level, the car still has a production number attached. At the final level, the number is 1, and the buyer was already decided before the car had a name. Level 7, the final level, La Voiture Noire, 1 unit, $18.7 million. The most expensive new automobile ever delivered to a customer. The buyer has never been publicly identified. La Voiture Noire means the black car in French. The name references a specific object, a 1930s Bugatti Type 57 Atlantic that Ettore Bugatti's son Jean drove and that disappeared in 1939. It has never been found. If it still exists somewhere, its estimated value exceeds $100 million. The new La Voiture Noire was built as a response to that absence, not a replica, a response. 6 exhaust pipes, 1 for each pair of cylinders in the W16. 3 years to complete from commission to delivery, revealed at the Geneva Motor Show in March 2019. Already sold before the curtain lifted. The buyer was not in the press hall, or if they were, nobody knew it. The ownership has never been disclosed. The car has not been photographed in private hands. The $18.7 million purchased something that no production number can define, the only one in existence, built in answer to the one lost to history. Ferdinand PX spent $1.5 billion reviving a brand that had been silent for decades. He knew the economics would never close. He built it because the question of whether it was possible demanded an answer. While all of this was happening, Bugatti quietly announced its next car, the Tourbillon. $4.2 million. A naturally aspirated V16 developed with Cosworth, who build Formula One engines. An instrument cluster containing a mechanical analog display inspired by a watch movement. Not a screen, not a digital readout, a physical mechanism with rotating components. It took 3 years to design the dashboard. Bugatti will make approximately 250 of them total. Ferrari makes more than that. That every 2 weeks. Everything Bugatti is, at every level, is built on the decision to never change that ratio. The buyer of a used Veyron paid $1.5 million for the proof that the thing was possible. The buyer of La Voiture Noire paid $18.7 million for a different proof that the most beautiful car Bugatti ever made is not entirely gone from the world. Neither of them bought a car. Both of them bought evidence. Bugatti has made approximately 8,000 cars total since 1909. Toyota makes that many before lunch on a Tuesday. One of these companies is trying to make the best car in the world. The other is trying to make the most. They are not competing. They have never been competing. They are not even in the same conversation. The Bugatti was never the point. The proof that it existed, that was always the point. If this was useful, subscribe. I break down how things actually work, not how the brochure describes them. See you in the next one.